Climate change and lack of coping mechanisms among pastoral communities in the arid and semi-arid lands is taking a more worrying trend. Under-Secretary General in charge of humanitarian affairs at the United Nations, Stephen O'Brien, is now calling for measures to ensure sustainable livelihoods.
To respect the fact that people who have always been pastoralists have a way of life which has been imbalanced. It's often because of the extraction of resources to support people in increasingly urban environments that has caused the imbalance. So that's why we need to think these through very carefully, to be very sensitive to local ways of life, but at the same time to recognise that if you have increasing population, there is only a finite amount of resources that nature's bounty is able to provide.
This as the National Drought Management Authority proposes a change of tact through the inception of climate adaptation methods as opposed to mitigation as drought becomes more severe.
So we are talking of a very long period of drought, close to even maybe 10 months or close to 1 year, very prolonged and getting severe. And we are talking of 23 arid and semi-arid counties. But there are also pockets of non-ASAL which have also been affected, like parts of Nyanza, parts of Western, parts of Central, even parts of South Rift.
The international community has in the meantime expressed a willingness to continue supporting vulnerable communities in Africa faced by the vagaries of weather.
It's very important to dispel any idea that there is any apathy. Far from it. Let's act early. That's why we have a plan. We have the ability to avert a famine if we all pull together and if we get the plan financed to be able to support the plan of the Kenyan government, fitting very much with the areas elsewhere in this continent.
Meanwhile, the State Department for Social Protection is scaling up assistance to populations affected by drought in order to reduce suffering among communities.
Indeed, a lot of old people who are very vulnerable in this situation, child-headed households, and homes that have got persons with disability have really gotten a big boost from the government's cash transfer programs.
That figure has gone to 2.7 million already, and we are expecting to go to 4 million by April. So, you can't turn off the weather, but I have to commend and compliment the government that they have been on the front foot, and that's why you see a lot of the results here today are by the affirmative action both of the government and the county authorities of Kenya.
We are calling upon all the other stakeholders now to come in and support the government where we are now to manage this, because the government has tried its best, it's given a lot of resources, but there are still gaps. Secondly, I'm calling upon all the other stakeholders to help us implement this ending drought emergency strategy, because it's the only one which will get out of this. But for the time being, we have to protect the livelihoods, like now the cattle you are seeing here, and we have also to protect lives.
The current drought ravaging the country has been described as the most severe, stretching over 6 seasons. The Kenya Meteorological Service has predicted depressed rainfall in most of the ASALs. Judith Akolo, Channel 1 News.